So, as usual, first of all, a brief revision. Then today's topic, law of constant composition, and a few definitions like atomic number, atomic mass, molecule, etc. Okay. So let's start. So what we did yesterday? Yesterday we began chapter, right? And you know the name of the chapter is chemical combination. The very first topic is about the laws. And how many laws? 4 laws that you can see on the screen. Law of conservation of mass, law of constant composition, law of multiple proportion, law of reciprocal proportion. Okay, we have finished yesterday the first one, law of conservation of mass or matter. What is the statement here? The statement is you can't create matter, you can't destroy matter in any chemical reaction or any physical change, but the only thing that we can do is to transform matter from one form to another form. Okay? So this was the law of conservation of mass, that mass or matter cannot be created nor be destroyed. Then today, another law of constant composition. Its another name is law of definite proportion. Since it was given by Proust, that is why it is also called Proust law. Okay? There's a riddle. Let's read it yourself. Might be you already know its answer. 2 men walk into a restaurant. One man ordered H2O. The other man says, I will have H2O too. The second man dies. How come the second man dies there? So this law is related with this riddle. We will talk about this afterwards. So what could be the various sources of pure water if I ask? How can we get pure water? Yes, from rain, by melting snow, from wells, from tap water, if it's pure, from natural spring, from geysers, from lakes, from rivers, from sea by desalination. So all of these are the various natural sources to get more or less pure water. My question is, we are assuming here the water is pure. My question is, chemically, the water is same. All of these sources providing the same quality of water. Right? Yes, most of you are answering in yes, affirmation answer. Okay, another question. Carbon dioxide. What is the formula of carbon dioxide? Correct. CO2. Right? So how many ways, how many sources are there, common sources are there, which can provide carbon dioxide? Correct. I am exhaling out carbon dioxide. You are also. Okay, so respiration is there. So plants, animals, they produce carbon dioxide. All right? During the process of respiration. What else? During any chemical process, Carbon dioxide can be produced. For example, if you heat baking soda, it is used in naans, bread, okay, just to increase the volume. When you heat baking soda, carbon dioxide produces. So there are different ways to obtain carbon dioxide. Same question. If this carbon dioxide is pure, we are assuming, then chemically all type of sources providing the same CO2? The answer is yes. And this is the law of constant composition. Constant composition means that the ingredients, the composition of a pure compound remains same. All right? That is why it is called law of definite proportion, because here you always find a fixed ratio. For example, in water, what is the formula of water? H2O. H2O. How many hydrogens? 2. How many oxygens? 1. So in all kind of pure water, there is the same combination. Always you will find 2 elements, hydrogen and oxygen. 2 atoms of hydrogen, 1 atom of oxygen will give you what? Water. So water, if it is water, it means it contains hydrogen and oxygen. And what is the ratio of their atoms? What is the proportion of their atoms? 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. This is the law of constant composition. So it was given by Proust, the French chemist. According to him, he showed that a given compound has a definite composition. What is the statement? It is, you can see on the screen, different samples, like you have obtained different samples of water from here, and there. Okay? So different samples of the same compound, like water, always contain the same elements. Water contains hydrogen and oxygen, yes, we know. Carbon dioxide, carbon and oxygen, yes, we know. Hydrochloric acid, HCl, yes. Glucose always contains carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Okay? So, what is the first point of this law? That the elements constituting that compound, that pure compound, will remain same. All right? So that is why the constancy is there. Okay, the second part. Just told you, which are combined, means the atoms are combined in a proper ratio. They have a fixed value of mass. Just giving you an example, just suppose we have water in a jug and we have water in a normal glass, right? The quantities are different. Jug is containing greater quantity of water, glass is containing smaller quantity of water. Whatever be the quantity of water is there in the jug, about 90% is due to oxygen and about only 10% is due to hydrogen. Same is true in case of glass which contains water. About 90% is of oxygen and just 10% is this. Means always contain the same percentage. Compound contains the same percentage, the same masses. You will see it further. Okay, see the example. Water composed of 2 atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen, forming H2O, water. Okay. Now we have two different vessels, containers, one containing tap water, as you can see on the screen, and another one is there in a mineral water. First thing, that both of these water are made up of same kind of elements, hydrogen and oxygen. Either it is tap water or it is mineral water. Water, hydrogen, oxygen. Water, two atoms of hydrogen, one atom of oxygen. Right? Now, can you answer that riddle? Why that person dies? Because the first man ordered H2O. And the second one says H2O, I want H2O2. I want H2O2. So H2O2 will become different. Chemically, this has become a different compound than this one. You can't say that it is more pure because it contains more oxygen. No, the compound is totally changed. Here, hydrogen 2:1 ratio with oxygen. Two atoms of hydrogen, one atom of oxygen. Here, the ratio is different. 2:2, or simply you can say 1:1. So according we have what we have just studied, if the ratio changes, the compound changes. So that person says, I want H2O2. He meant to say H2O2. But that person which is there at the bar, he understood it by like this. So that is why he gave H2O2 and he drunk and he dies. All right? So if the compound is pure, it contains same element which combines in a fixed ratio. You can see another few reactions. No need to bother about all of these reactions. Just focus that there are different reactions in which carbon dioxide is producing. Like if you burn a piece of coal, as I told you yesterday, you will get carbon dioxide, as you can see in the first reaction. Then if you heat limestone, calcium carbonate, you will get carbon dioxide. Okay, similarly, another example, carbon dioxide is producing another carbon dioxide. In all of these different reactions, carbon dioxide, one carbon, two oxygen. The ratio is 1:2. Carbon dioxide 1:2. One ratio of carbon, two ratio of oxygen. Okay, so mass will remain same. Secondly, so either you talk about in the form of number of atoms, or you talk about their masses, the thing is same. So what are the three main points regarding this law? All pure substances have constant composition. If the substance, if the thing, if the compound, if the chemical is pure, it always contains same element. Second, all samples of a pure substance contain the same elements in the same percentage or in the same ratio or in the same ratio of masses. Okay? So this is one of the most important characteristic of compound comparing with mixture. Mixtures do not have such restriction. You can mix, you can prepare a mixture in any proportion. Suppose you want to prepare a mixture of sand and water, then either you put 1 tablespoon of sand in water, in a jug of water, in a glass of water, it remains a mixture of sand and water. Okay? So that is why it's written there, mixtures do not have such fixed composition. All right? Another slide just to put weightage. Law of constant composition or law of definite proportion. Read it by yourself. A chemical has exactly the same proportion. I'm not repeating because you just explained it. Okay? So, what is next? Now, the new thing is here. What is that new thing? What is that new thing? You know, I told you that each atom has masses. All right? So, for example, what is the atomic mass of hydrogen? 1. What is the atomic mass of oxygen? 16. What is the atomic mass of carbon? 12. What is the atomic mass of sodium? 23. These are called the atomic masses. Okay? So if I write here H2O, how many hydrogens do we have here? 2. What is the mass internationally accepted by scientists for this hydrogen? For one hydrogen atom, just 1. How many hydrogen do we have? 2. So how many, what is the mass here? 1 into 2. 2 is the mass of hydrogen. What is the mass of oxygen? 16. So 16 is the mass of, atomic mass of oxygen, and 2 is the mass of hydrogen. Why 2? Because they are, the mass of hydrogen is 1 and here we have 2 hydrogens, so 1 to the 2. So whenever water is there, it always contains the same ratio, 2 is to 16. 2 is to 16, or you say 1 is to 8, 2 on the 2 to 8 to 16. All right? This slide is your assignment. I repeat, this slide is your assignment. Go through this slide by yourself. It's not a big deal. It's very easy. I'll talk about this slide tomorrow. I just told you briefly, but not explaining, just to put some creative nature, just to enhance your creative nature, right? Carbon dioxide. See what is next? Carbon dioxide. Carbon mass 12. Oxygen. What is the mass of oxygen? 16. How many oxygens? 2. 16 2s are 32. So what is the ratio of masses of carbon and oxygen? 12 is to 32. If you want to cut it down, 4 through the 12, 4 8s are 32. Okay? Remember, we are not talking about right now about their numbers. Now, what is the number here? What is the ratio of numbers? 1 carbon, 2 oxygen. The ratio is 1:2. This is the ratio by their numbers, and this is the ratio by their weight. Difference, there is a little bit difference. All right? This is the ratio of numbers. Like for example, look at the board. Just take this example again, H2O. How many hydrogens? 2. How many oxygen? 1. The ratio is 2 is to 1. This is the ratio by number. But if we talk about the weight, so what is the weight of one hydrogen? 1. How many hydrogens? 2. 1 2 is the 2. 2 is to 16. This is the ratio by mass. This is the ratio by mass. And this is the ratio by number. Okay? Now, how did Berzelius put his effort in this law? He heated about certain quantity of lead, 10 gram of lead with various amount of sulfur. Okay? And he always got a fixed value, 11.56. What? Suppose you want to make burgers or sandwiches rather. Okay? So you will need a fixed amount of kebabs and bread pieces. Suppose you want to make 10 sandwiches. You want to make how many sandwiches? 10 sandwiches. So someone has provided you 10 kebabs and 24 bread pieces. So you have a fixed value of kebab, 10. So how many pieces will be, bread pieces will be left behind? For each sandwich, you will need 2 bread pieces. So 20 will be consumed. How many will be left? 4. Why? Because you need a fixed amount. The number of slices, the bread slices is more. That is why it is left behind. The formula, the ingredients, the recipe of sandwiches is fixed. That is why you got surplus amount extra. Bread slices. Same is true here. What he did, he took 10 grams of lead. 10 grams of lead will require a fixed value of sulfur. Okay? But each time he got the same quantity again and again, 11.56. The surplus amount of sulfur all wasted, not used. This is a little bit confusing. Read it again and again. If not, leave a message. I will explain it again to you tomorrow. All right? So these two laws have been covered. Laws of matter, law of conservation of mass. Matter can neither be created nor be destroyed. And the second one is law of constant composition, that you just have finished it. Okay? Now there is some board work. I told you yesterday that since I'm going to start some problems tomorrow, so let me remind you the first day's lecture. Suppose you see a symbol over here. For example, you see F. F is the symbol of fluorine. And you see 2 numbers written over here. Then smaller number, wherever it is written, always show you its atomic number. How many of you remember atomic number? Atomic number means number of protons. an atom has. And what is the mass number? If you add protons and neutrons, that will give you what? The mass number. Okay? See, look at the board. Suppose I'm just drawing the nucleus over here. I drew a nucleus here. 9 protons I wrote, 10 neutrons. Now the question is, what is the atomic number of this fluorine? You see how many protons? 9. So its atomic number will be 9. And what is the mass number? Mass number means bigger number. Bigger number is 19. How? Mass number means add protons and neutrons. How many protons? 9. How many neutrons? 10. 10 plus 9, 19. Last, board work is over. Molecule. Told you on the first day. I am just asking. Molecule means combination of atoms. Combination of atoms. Right? 2 or more than 2 atoms combine together to form a molecule. Like hydrogen and oxygen are combining together to form water. Like carbon and oxygen combining together to form a molecule of carbon dioxide. So what have we covered today? We have done the laws. We have revised the upcoming topic. The topic we will focus tomorrow. Tomorrow you should have calculators with you, because we will start with the law of multiple proportion. Then we will see a little bit about the next topic, molecular mass. That's all for today. What is the feedback assignment? One, that I gave you to study that slide. Second, this one. Only learn by your heart this statements of the 2 laws. That's it. Only the learning process is there. That's all for today. Thank you so much.